the riveting reason he fell in love with Misaki is because he gave her half of his eraser and she said thank you.
Hi, Rogue.
Hey, Zax.
Hi, Locke.
Hey Sax, hey Rogue.
Hi, Locke.
We have a new kind of friend today. Locke.
Yay.
Hello.
Well, you sound like you're in pain, which means that you have something wonderful to share with us.
Yeah, I have this, I have this anime to share with you two today. It aired in 2017 and it's called Koito Uso, or Love and Lies. And it's really, really bad.
What kind of bad is it?
The kind of bad where the author didn't really think ahead, so characters say really stupid things, and just really stupid things happen in general.
Oof.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
And you watched all of it.
I've watched all of it several times. It gets worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. Well, we're starting with episode 1, yes?
Yeah. I mean, I hope we're not starting with episode 2. Alright. So, in episode 1, we start off with this wedding on TV, and it's an idol getting married to a completely nobody of a man.
Good start.
I mean, they say it. They say he's a really normal man just attending college in the city.
Oh.
So that's really sad. But this leads us into a narration, and we find out that in this universe, Japan in the 70s, to stabilize the birth rate, implemented this matchmaking system called the Red String of Science. And it is a system in where they basically calculate you through a bunch of surveys throughout your life, and at age 16, you're assigned your future spouse.
Okay.
And they will go into this a bit later, and it makes no sense.
Good.
Yes.
How does that help limit children?
Because people aren't getting pregnant out of wedlock. I guess.
But if you're still getting pregnant,
Yeah.
that seems like that's the problem, right?
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so this idol is marrying this loser guy, I guess. And they've been together since they were 16?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't know how old they are. They're basically irrelevant. They, for some reason, just chose to start on this wedding. Alright. But anyways, after their narration, we cut to the opening, and even though the song is really good and is a bop, really nothing happens in this opening. And I actually decided to count how many times there's a red string of fate, or somebody is staring moony-eyed into space, or just walking or talking, and there's approximately 50 seconds of this 1 minute and 30-second opening of just nothing.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting because in most animes I've seen, the opening sequence is like, it's not like spoilery like theme songs and like American like live action shows tend to be. It's just, but it does, like, it is, like, kind of its own little story about what the whole anime is about.
Kind of. It's very much a artistic take on it.
Yeah.
It's like a big metaphor.
My favorite shot is the shot there. All the four main characters are walking in a straight line for 12 seconds.
Oh, no. Oh, it's so funny. Now that I haven't actually watched the real anime, but that makes me think of the art in the opening of Jinsei Abridged.
Oh, no. Yeah, kinda. Okay, so after the opening has ended, we open on a shot of a black-haired girl talking to people again. And then, as we're looking at this, we're getting the line, "My eyes always follow her in the classroom. I only watch her for a little bit so she doesn't notice." Which is a very off-putting introduction to our main character.
The hero of our story, everyone.
Yeah, he's not a hero.
He just likes to creep a little bit.
Oh,
not too much.
It's
a healthy dose of creeping.
Well, actually, something later in this very episode will contradict that.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I tried to help him.
Basically, it's not just a little creep. It's quite a bit of creep.
Oh no.
Alright. But anyway, so Nejima is staring at this girl from his desk. And he's just staring until this guy comes up to him. And this guy's name is Takeda. And he's very upset. And he's raving about how he wants to find true love and he refuses to get married. And Nejima just quietly just slips away and goes over to this other guy who's standing, leaning up against the wall, drinking a juice box. And this guy's name is Nisaka, and he's gonna be one of our main characters.
Okay.
But basically, he asks Nisaka, "What's up with Takeda?" And Nisaka mentions that Takeda received his marital notice yesterday, which is why he's so upset.
Oh, I mean, he seems like a romantic, so that would be bad news for him.
Yeah, and Takeda just immediately butts back into the conversation and mentions that he doubts there's any love in these marital notices, even though the system has apparently worked for 40 years now. So, I don't know about that.
I mean, I guess if it's been working this long, then I guess, Rogue, you were right that it is just like we don't want any accidental pregnancy.
Yes. I mean, and here's the thing about this, though. We think it's been working, but you know what? Arranged marriages worked, too.
Yeah?
Are they allowed to get divorced in this universe?
Well, we find out about that in the last episode.
Oh, okay. I have to wait a long time for the answer.
Yeah, you have to wait like 10 episodes to get there.
I guess, is that a good thing or a bad thing that they're gonna wait that long for a question that you've had 5 seconds into hearing about this premise?
Remember how I said that this author just didn't think ahead? This author also just does not world build at all. I've watched this anime several times and I have so many questions as to how the system works. And I just have no answers.
Well, okay. And maybe they won't go into this at all. I guess my question would be is there a limit to how many children you can have in the perfect marriage?
I mean, okay. I don't think so, at least.
Okay, that's weird, because I was thinking that, with the accidental pregnancy thing, that would help. But what about people who, twins run in their family?
Or people who just want, 9 kids.
Yeah, I mean, there are families. I forget what their name is, but there's some family and they had like 12 kids.
You're talking about the Duggars?
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't talk about them. They're the problem.
They're bad?
Yeah, they're real bad.
Oh no!
And we don't talk about them. But
Oof,
a good
I
example.
didn't-
A good example of a family having a lot of kids is my family. I have like a great aunt, or I have two different great uncles. One had 14 kids and the other had 16.
Oh wow!
There you go. Way before the
Okay.
Duggars.
Yeah.
Yay! Rogue for president.
I can't be president. I was born in Germany.
Oh man.
Yeah, impossible.
That's the only reason I'll never be president.
Yeah.
Only one.
Forget your other pursuits.
Anyway, so Takeda makes Nejima, Nisaka, and their surrounding friends, they all swear a pact and they put their hands together and swear that they will never get married. And somehow in the next shot where we see like the whole circle, Nisaka and Nejima switched spots. Like Nejima is to the left of Nisaka when he was to the right of Nisaka before.
I love continuity errors.
Yeah. But anyways, when we see that outer shot, we see that the girl from before also put her hand on the pack's hands, and we find out because Nejima jumps back in shock and exclaims her name, that her name is Misaki Takasaki. And right after she just asks if are girls not allowed to join this pact, and they're like, no, of course, and then she just walks away.
That's beautiful.
And as she's walking away, Nejima's group of friends just start talking about how hot she actually is.
Okay.
And then one of them mentions that even though she turned 16 a while ago, she hasn't received her notice yet. And I don't know why this is public knowledge to them. I wouldn't imagine it is. So,
She has no soulmate.
you know, she has no.
I guess that's weird because, like, with the guy Takeda, who he just got today, it's not his birthday.
I mean, I think his birthday must have been, like, recently, but I don't think we ever hear when his birthday was. He just got his notice.
So we just assume it was recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I was just thinking maybe, like, that's why everybody knows. It's, like, public knowledge because, like, on your birthday, you get it.
Yeah, it's like,
But
this show's weird. Anyway, they...
do they at least, I don't remember you said they talk about this. Do they talk about, like, how they figure out exactly who's gonna be your soulmate?
It's science.
Yeah, science. They mention how they do it. It makes no sense.
Okay. 'Cause this makes me think of, Soulfix.
I don't know that one.
Oh, they're just this genre of fan fictions. The only one I
Oh, the
can
ones
think of.
that are like, they have a what's it called? It's like a mark. What's it called?
I forget.
We know a lot about
it's-
this genre.
It's very different. Each one that I've only seen, I think, 3 different Soulfix, and they all have their own different, like, universe rules. The one I'm thinking of is between Captain America and Spider-Man, where
classic ship.
it was. Well, all I'm gonna say is in that one, when you write on your hand, it shows up on your soulmate's body. So
Okay.
Captain America, he was born significantly earlier than Spider-Man was. So Spider-Man was basically born with a bunch of marks on him
Oh no.
that he didn't understand. Anyway, it's a wild ride. It's
There's
very, very
There's like a name for it, and I can't remember what it is. Yeah, somebody in this writing community that I was in just like threw it out there, like everyone should know this word, and I was like, I have no idea what this is, and I had to look it up, and even the definition that I found was very vague, and I can't even remember what the term is now. But yeah, like you said, it could be that. It could be like, randomly you just get a tattoo, and somehow it links you to your soulmate. Like, a tattoo appears on your body, not that you go and have one done, and that's how you find your soulmate.
You get a cutie mark.
Basically, sometimes it's like, the eye color of the character changes. I don't know how that leads you to your soulmate, but that's a thing, I guess.
Well, it's so...
It's such a weird
Soulfics are very weird.
They
I
are.
don't like. It's weird too. Like it seems like they shouldn't be because like there's so many written works about like finding your soulmate, but like.
But usually the finding your soulmate is like a normal, not like the supernatural. We were meant to be together because the universe thinks that we're meant to be together.
Yeah.
It's like finding your soulmate, finding the person that really understands you, and you share whatever in common, and you can speak to each other without words. Like that kind of soulmate, not...
No, but
Yeah.
people should be linked by fate because
I've never met you before, but I guess we're supposed to be together.
yeah, it's fate.
Yeah, that is interesting because, like, even with soulmates, like, you know, in romantic whatevers, they'll say to each other, like, you know, I don't know what brought us together, but I'm sure glad it did, or something like that. So, like, they imply that there might be higher powers at work bringing our love together, but,
Higher
like,
matchmakers.
yeah, but, like, in, you know, in Koi de Uso and in Soulfix, it's like, we're gonna take out the mystery. We're gonna tell you this is what's up. Like, this is why you love who you love. Which I feel like defeats the purpose of love.
I feel like there was a
yeah.
Black Mirror episode about the this plot line.
Yeah.
Does anybody know the one I'm talking about? I can't remember what it's called.
I don't watch enough stuff on television.
It's on Netflix, but
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, obviously Black Mirror always has a twist, but the storyline was like that there was a you would get paired with the perfect person in the simulation, and that's like who you were meant to be with. I mean, the whole point of the episode was like the characters would sometimes get paired and sometimes not, but they were like, no, we have to be together. We're gonna do what nobody else has ever done and go against the simulation. Yeah.
I mean, that is pretty... I mean, they do get into, like, discussion, like, pseudo-philosophical discussions about if these governmental notices, if they actually, like, give you true love, or if finding love on your own is true love. But that will be later. But...
Okay.
Any... Yeah, this
That's
anime...
the first episode accomplished.
I mean, this anime is... They really don't give us the information
No,
we want
there's more
until
to
much
it.
later. Anyways, the friends proceed to complain about how much the system that they're not fighting against sucks. And then we cut to... Yeah, and then we cut to Nejima brooding in his room about how he doesn't care how perfect the system supposedly is. He just wants to be in love with Misaki. And then he takes out a tiny box from his drawer and opens it and reveals half of an eraser.
Oh.
And then we find out that he's been in love with her for 5 years. So since they were 9.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh wait, what am I talking? I mean, since they were 11. I don't know why I just said 9.
That's.
I
I just assumed they were younger.
Not that it really makes much of a difference. So we flash back to when they were 11, and we found out that the riveting reason he fell in love with Misaki is because he gave her half of his eraser, and she said thank you. and that's not... That's not even a joke. Like, he then says, with those few words, she stole my heart.
Okay, which that's fine when you're 11. Like, whatever, that's cute. Like a little kid thing. But you didn't ever grow out of that?
No, and it...
Or you won't, like, elaborate a little bit more? Like, she stole my heart. And then, as we grew up, I loved her even more for this, and this reason.
No, well, actually...
Oh my gosh.
Rogue, what you just said, he will tell you how... the reasons why he fell in love with Misaki. But except he won't, because apparently they haven't spoken to each other other than that one interaction. They've not interacted for 5 years.
Oh, I love those. I love when the main character doesn't even pretend that there's anything else. They just completely project this false narrative onto this random stranger.
It has been half a decade and they've not spoken to each other once. And it's not like they were like gone from each other. From what I understand, they've basically been in the same schools every year of their life, just only in one class, except for this one they're currently in also. So they've been in 2 classes together, but in the same school. Great.
Yeah, if nothing's happened yet, and you're not doing anything but holding on to an eraser...
If people get these marriage arrangements when they're 16... do they date before then?
Apparently. It happens.
That's interesting. So you're saying, like, potentially, you could have a girlfriend, and you're age 15 and 364 days, then you get a letter a couple days later like, well, bye.
Yeah. Well, actually, this becomes a character's plot later in the show.
That must make breakups really easy, because you can just be like, sorry, it's not in the cards for us.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah,
It
because...
would be against the law.
Yeah, it's literally a crime. So we cut to Nejima eating dinner with his family, and his parents are just the worst characters in the entire show, because they are so obsessed with this marital system. And the first hint we get that they are this obsessed is the fact that we find out Nejima's is his last name. His first name is Yukari, which is the name of the marital law.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine naming your child marriage?
Oh my god. I mean, it's specifically this marital law.
I'm trying to think of a law that I would name my kid after.
Named the First Amendment.
No.
That's so bad.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah.
That's amazing. My kid is named Don't Kill People.
Yeah, but yeah, they're gonna be the ultimate shippers in this show and not care about their child's happiness at all. So,
is it the kind of thing where they're like, well, okay, because like in anime tropes, there are like different types of parents we see. So are they like the parents that are like really adorable and mean well, but they're just like doing wrong by their child, or is this like it has to be this way?
Well, they basically only care
parents.
about the marital system. That's really their only character.
the marital
That's
system
amazing.
personified.
Also, his mom mentions that the reason why she named him Yukari is so that the system will hopefully give him a nice wife, which doesn't make sense
Which-
considering that's the point of the system.
Yeah, they're all supposed
regardless.
to be nice.
Yeah. So
Oh my goodness. I just like the idea of like several people doing that. So we just have like thousands of
No.
Yukaris
that would
walking
be
around.
awful. Anyways, his parents and his little sister are talking about it all excitedly, but inside he's dreading it because, oh no, he loves Misaki. So as he's laying in bed that night, he realizes that he needs to confess his feelings to no end because he will get his notice anyways. So the next day, Nejima stops Misaki in the hallway as she's walking with her friends. And as they walk away, if we bring it back to the whole you can date before the notice, they're walking away and they're like, ugh, another confession? This is like the third this month. So apparently Misaki gets confessions on a monthly basis.
I think that's another trope in anime series, though.
Yeah, that is
With
true.
boys and girls.
But it's just weird when you have this
Yeah.
System in
system.
place.
Yeah, why would that happen in a place where literally dating someone else is illegal? Doesn't make sense. Well, Nejima mentions that they were in the same class 1 year in elementary school, but Misaki doesn't remember, and he gets really sad about it. He's like, oh no, what do I then say? And he basically tells her, never mind, and see you later. But then, before she completely is out of sight, he yells at her to meet him at the park behind their elementary school at 6 in the evening, and then just runs away in the hallway.
That's not sketchy at all.
Yeah, not sketchy. Meet me at night.
Bring someone with you, please.
Yeah. And then,
Don't go by yourself.
well, she doesn't go by herself because Misaki doesn't show up at the time, and Nejima keeps waiting, and he waits for 5.5 hours.
God!
He waits until 11:30 in that night. Oh my god. And from what I understand, he doesn't actually tell his parents where he is, and he's waiting at this park, and the police show up at 10:30 because a kid is out at night. And oh my god.
That's amazing. So she doesn't show up for any reason, or just like she just didn't come?
Well, she doesn't show up until 11:30, where she comes running 5.5 hours later.
Why?
Did he? No, on the invitation he said he had a time, or is it just like meet me at night?
Well, he did say you don't have to come, but I'll be waiting, and he was about to leave at 11:30, so she just came like at the latest time she could.
Why would you still think he would be there? Why would you wait that long and expect her to show up?
Why not?
Well, you know, this is kind of like a call to like two things we've looked at. It makes me think of the kissing booth too, where she just waited outside a movie theater for 45 minutes without calling. And, you know, while I was editing, I had to look at pictures of it. And they show a picture of her looking at her phone. So she was expecting him to call her. But she didn't go the other way around. But then also tagged where Eric, he gives Rowan a note to, like, meet me at Rebel's Donuts.
Oh yeah.
But he doesn't sign it, so she doesn't show up.
Oh, gee.
And then that's that. So apparently this is a very common practice of people just expecting the object of their affection to just sort of get the message.
But Luckily, Misaki actually showed up just way late.
Yeah.
And luckily, everybody was still there.
Better late than never.
By the way, this is what I mentioned before. This whole scene of him waiting for her, and then the rest of the episode is this one scene. So it's 11 minutes of one scene.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So is it just like him thinking about like everything?
Well, it's them talking about everything, basically. And then some really funny stuff happens, but we'll get to that.
So wait, the police showed up, and then she showed up, and the police were just like, "Oh, okay, you're good."
No, the police showed up at 10:30. An hour later, she finally shows up.
Oh, so the police have come and gone.
Yeah, they were like, "Why are you out of here so late?" And he was building burial mounds because Nechima is obsessed with burial mounds. Obsessed in the way that that's his only characteristic other than being awkward. And his excuse to the police is just, "Oh, I was just so caught up in making burial mounds," because he used the entire sandbox to make those. And then they're like, "Well, go home and be safe, okay?" And then he leave.
I love that. Why are you out here being a weirdo? Oh, I'm just being a weirdo. Well, stop that and go home. Okay, bye. We're not gonna make sure of anything.
Yeah, okay. So they sit on this bench, and Misaki points at the burial mounds, and he starts rambling about burial mounds again. And Misaki's laughing a little at it, and then mentions that back in elementary school, he would always go on and on about burial mounds. So this is serious. But then he points out that she said she didn't remember him earlier, and she tells him that was a lie. And he wonders why she lied, and I wonder that too, because I don't know either. So Nechima, he starts talking about how he has no good points, how he's neither ugly looking or handsome, how he's not stupid but he's not smart, and all this whole thing about him not having good points is brought up several times. In fact, it's also brought up in the last episode.
Is this how he sells himself to women?
Yeah, that's how he sells himself, and that's also how women sell him before contradicting themselves. But he mentions how hard he tried to be the best guy ever, how he apparently asked Nisaka how to style his hair and what kinds of shirt to wear, which is really weird considering he hasn't talked to her in 5 years. So it's that's pretty relevant, honestly.
Yeah.
And finally, he pulls it all together by mentioning that everything he is today, he owes to her, and that he loves her. And she doesn't say anything. And then suddenly, she starts crying, and Nechima is all fumbling, "Oh no, why is she crying?" And he tries to tell a funny story about Takeda, which is weird way to try and cheer somebody up, but okay. And then she puts her hand in her pocket, and she opens up her hand and reveals the second half of the eraser he gave her.
Oh my gosh.
And then she talks about how she noticed that he was trying his hardest to give her the eraser all day, but he was too nervous, but then he finally worked up the courage in the last period. And apparently that was so sweet to her. And then she tells him that she loves him too, and they share a kiss, and they actually make out also. They first share a kiss, then they pull back, and then they make out. And
Is it now? Okay, this is kind of weird, but is it like when you say make out?
I
Is
mean,
it like?
if you are you talking about if they have, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about if they use tongue or not? Because I think they
You
do.
know, like, okay, that was what I was trying to get at, because I noticed in animes when they kiss, they do this weird thing where their tongues, like...
There is a lot of tongue
twist
making
around
out
each
in this
other.
show. There's so much of it, and it doesn't feel natural at all. Like, it just feels
Okay.
like we want them to make out, so let's make them make out.
This is how
Oh.
teenagers are, I guess.
Yeah, and every time.
I mean, again, like, I don't mean to bring up Tagged again, but,
Oh.
like, Rowan lost her virginity while Alicia was kidnapped, so...
This is how teenagers are.
It really is, apparently.
That's what the media has taught me.
Yeah, that's what...
And so basically, after they make out, Nejima phone beeps. And he says, like, it's probably my parents, because it's 11:30 at night. But then he pulls it up, and it's a message from the government, because it's 12 at midnight, and it's officially his birthday. And he pulls up the text, and it's a really bizarre... It's supposed to be like a distorted text, but it's really bizarre because there's only a few distorted pixels on it. It's not like the whole screen is distorting, and it's only the text message itself that's distorted. So that's really weird. But he is able to read through the pixels that his assigned marital partner is Misaki. And that
Oh, the system works.
that's amazing. And suddenly, as he shows it to her and then turns it back, his whole phone turns off. And I don't know why. It's not because his phone battery was, like, down. It was actually full. But for some reason, this text message made his phone turn off. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, these two people walk up to them. They're in the middle of the park at 12 at midnight, and these people just walk up to him and say, "Hey, we're from the government." And they brought him his marital notice. So for some reason, they gave him his marital notice in this abandoned park at midnight.
Maybe they'd been following him for like all day, and they were just waiting till it was officially time.
Yeah, we
Maybe they
think
tracked his phone.
we don't know
Oh.
that.
That makes more sense than my.
Maybe, though. It is the government. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tracking our phones. They're
Kind of
listening.
Friends gets political.
They're listening into this
The
this
worst,
recording.
Such a lackluster way to announce going political.
Okay, so they walk up to him and they hand him the notice, and he opens it up because it's a physical notice, not a text message. And it does not have Misaki's name on it. It has the name Ririna Sanada. And Nichima's like, wait, but I have this text message that I can't show because my phone just happens to turn off. And it had this girl's name on it. And they're like, no, that's not possible. It's like, this is the actual notice. Because both you and your partner are minors, you have to contact us to meet up. And then they just leave.
What?
Yeah.
Are we going to find out that, like, this Riri or whoever is, like, rigged it because she's in love with him for an equally dumb reason as he's in love with Misaki?
Wait, I can say that no, he doesn't know Ririna and she doesn't know him until this point. And then,
Interesting.
they leave, just leaves him behind in this park at midnight, and Misaki confesses to him that she actually wasn't planning on coming at all. This night.
Really?
Yeah. No, wait, really? You weren't planning on coming?
I wanted you to wait for 5.5 hours on purpose.
Yeah, I thought it would be more romantic that way. And
I needed you to lose hope.
so she confesses that she wasn't gonna come, but that even being able to wish him birthday and hearing him confess to her was like a dream come true, and she would like it if they'd leave it at that. And as the ending song is kicking in, the scene continues, and he says, "No, you're lying." And she runs off, and he chases after her, and he manages to catch up to her, and they hug while they cry, and he's like, "I know in this world where my partner is chosen, my feelings are not a lie," which, considering how he fell in love with her and the time they've spent together being an estimate of 0, other than these 2 incidents, yes, they are probably a lie.
Also, like, this is kind of an interesting plot point, because this is how teenagers feel, right? Like, when they have their first loves or whatever in high school, you're like, no, I'm gonna be with this person forever. You guys don't understand. And then obviously, most of the time they're not.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, I guess.
Well,
An interesting take.
Yeah, I was kind of thrown for a loop when it turned out that Mitsuki wasn't his soulmate, because I was about to, like, I don't know if I'd say give the weird world building props for this, but I was going to say that's interesting that somehow science knew that this weirdo would grow up and an eraser exchange would be so meaningful that would be his soulmate. I'm just kind of just trying to wrap my head around all of this.
well,
But also how vividly, I don't know what any of these characters look like since I haven't actually watched the show, but I have such a vivid picture in my mind of her running away
I mean,
and him running after her.
like, maybe it will be less or more dramatic than whatever you're imagining. I mean, it doesn't help that, like, the ending theme is playing in the background, because the ending theme is, like, a really, really J-pop love song. Like, it has a piano lead in, and then it's basically just a beat and a voice. So, but they hug, and they're crying, and it's like, oh no, what are they gonna do? And then we fade to this random room, and we hear like a little beep, and a girl gets up from her bed, and she's looking at her phone, and then she has gotten like a Gmail mail from the government, which has Nejima's name on it, so that's that's his partner. But I don't know why she's got this now, because does that mean that she didn't get her notice before he turned 16? Because I don't know if that's possible in this universe.
Oh, yeah, that's actually an interesting point. So that means every single person... So, like, normal people in the world, there's such a variety of people and personalities and stuff. Sometimes there's age gaps between partners. So is everybody, like, the same age as their partner in this universe?
I mean, every character in this universe has a partner or likes somebody who's their age, but I don't know if it's possible to have a partner that's younger or older than you, like other than like a few months.
What if your soulmate is like 2 years younger than you? That's fine when you're an adult, but the age gap between like a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old, that's kind of weird. Like, why are you matching up this 14-year-old with this 16-year-old?
Yeah, and that would also mean that the 14-year-old would supposedly get their notice when the other person is 18, which makes it a crime.
Well, you know what? Here's what I just realized, too. So, is this, like, are they compiling data on you your whole life leading up to your 16th birthday, and that's where, like, then, like, your results are final? Or is it, like, when you're born, they figure out who your soulmate's
No,
gonna be.
they compile it throughout your whole life, and from
Your
what I
whole
know,
16 years of life.
yeah, exactly. Your 16 years of life. After that, it's just death.
That's weird too. So you're just being stalked.
Basically, I guess you could call it that. And then
I mean, it is the government, am I right?
we're bringing it back around.
Yeah, this is the real agenda we've been at getting at all along. That's so wild to me because, I mean, but I guess that's better because I was just thinking if there is an age gap, that's really weird. Like, this kid was born and then we couldn't find anybody. We had to wait like 3 years to find somebody
No.
compatible with you.
Oh no, it's awful. And
That's interesting. So
she gets this Gmail notification from the government that this is her partner, and they're gonna contact him through the government to, arrange a meeting. And then just to solidify how bad of a name he has, she like says his name out loud. She says Yukari Nejima, and then pause, and then she says, "What a strange name." And that's how the episode ends.
Yeah.
Yay, we made it.
We made it.
We survived episode 1.
Oh my
Wow,
god.
this
Oh.
I don't even know. I was so curious about it because all I knew was the name of it and that you thought it was bad, Locke.
And
but
then I have a frame from the last episode that I showed to Yella and Munchie in the anime group, and they were really disgusted by it because it's a weird shot of a hand.
oh no! Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay. Well, this is the start of something new.
And something
And-
bad.
Something blue.
Oh jeez.
Oh, we're all married.
Oh.
We're all married? Is it what?
Something bad. I was doing like borrowed and blue and new.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't get it.
It's an American thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I didn't even think about that. I'm sorry. It doesn't really make much sense anyway, whatever it is. But anyway, this was fun. We'll do this again. Thank you, Locke, for telling us about this very interesting show.
Thanks for introducing us to more trash, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for being my friend.
kind of. And thank you guys for listening. And if you want to talk to us about more of this sort of stuff, you should join our Discord. The link is in the bio. Yeah. And remember to comment, like, and subscribe because we all need friends. Okay, bye.
Bye.